So, in pursuit of building a music career, how do you build a recognizable brand that is recognized by the right people?
So, we went to a a music conference recently, right? We went to A3C, and this is in Atlanta, and it's both a music conference and a music festival. But when I was there, I was and I've done like a couple of speaking engagements, but sometimes I'll just ask, who's seen our ads in here? And a good percentage of people, raise their hand.
Right.
So it's really impression based is one thing.
Okay.
But it's the whole business structure, because people need to see your face in order to recognize your brand or your logo or t-shirt slogan, whatever that is.
Right.
You need to impress it on somebody's mind, like over and over and over, that hey, here's this company logo, like here's this face, like here it is. That's why you can recognize a sports team logo or Nike logo or Apple logo or whatever, because you've seen it so many times that it's impressed on your brain.
Right.
For your music brand, there's so many advertisements that we get every day. You just have to make yours stick out.
Yes.
So it can't just be that you have the impressions there alone. It has to be that your impressions are better than everybody else's.
Yes.
And that can be argued, because you can argue that Coca-Cola, for instance, their drink really isn't better than anybody else's. That can be subjective, right? But nonetheless, they push their brand and all the brands under them, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
So in the music space, when you don't have as much money, you have to be a bit craftier. So with our ads, for instance, a lot of you guys watching this are probably familiar, or listening are probably familiar with our ads. The angle that we approach it from is very educational. And we knew that in our space, that was not the norm, because the people who sold you the services kind of just put out maybe an ad that says, buy this for $20 or $10 or whatever. And ours are kind of like, here's where you should look out for bad Spotify plays.
Yes.
Because we know that's your concern. Or here's mistakes you don't do on YouTube targeting when you have your music video come out. Like zigging when other people zag, right? Being a contrarian, thinking differently than everybody else. And then on top of that, we have our logo that we can impress on the brand, right? It sometimes can help, like if you're a solo act or whatever, like I know some artists may be on the shy side, but putting your face out there, and I'm really not all that public of a person. Like I don't want to say I would prefer, but like I'd be perfectly fine if I got the message across without having to like appear on camera or whatever.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it does help that I have the company and I'm like presenting to the company as a representative as well.
Yeah.
I remember back in, I think it was like the 2000s or something, that the CEO of Domino's at the time appeared in one of the company commercials. And I was young, but I still remember that to this day, because it was something different than maybe a lot of the other companies were doing. Or, the old CEO of Papa John's, everybody did at least know his face, right? It was like, hey, there's that guy.
Yeah.
So it does leave an impression on the people's brains of, they want to know who they're dealing with.
Yes.
So whenever you go to live events, leave an impression on people. Like people want to know who they're dealing with. At the end of the day, they still want to work with a human being.
That's right.
So that was my takeaway from it. So, more times than not, even if they didn't recognize the name of the company immediately. When I'm talking to people, they'd be like, you know what, man, I seen your face like it has to be like a dozen times, man. What's your company name again?
Yeah.
So it's at least that, right?
Yeah,
It's at least like I've seen this dude so many times.
That's right.
Or I've seen this logo so many times. Like it kind of solidifies that. It also solidifies legitimacy to people.
That's right.
So whenever you see a logo on TV, or you wonder why would this company even buy for advertisement space inside of a baseball stadium, right? You're not getting your message out really. You just have your logo there in the stadium.
That's right.
But it builds impressions
That's
on
right.
people's brain of, oh, well, at least they paid for this advertisement inside this stadium, and I trust the sports team, so now I trust this logo too.
That's
because they're embedded in my brain. So when I need my deck rebuilt or something, there was that construction company that was in the Atlanta Hawks stadium.
Yeah.
So I know that they at least probably have a good structure in their business, and I'll go with them.
Yeah.
Versus this guy over here, I don't really know them, so I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
So impression based, message based, it all goes together. But
Yep.
that's my takeaway.
Very important business principle. It's not always about being the best product. It's the best marketed product. The best product isn't the one that wins. The most marketed product is the one that wins. You look at, McDonald's.
Yeah,
Look at,
not very good food.
Not very good food.
Not good for you
No.
at all.
But
Not
they're
good for you.
But they're playing the game of real estate, so they're on every corner in every city. So you're always going to see them. So most likely, you think about getting a hamburger. Well, not most likely, but a lot of times, if you think about getting a hamburger, you're probably going to go to McDonald's. Or a lot of people. I'm not.
A lot of people.
A lot of
right?
people are.
Right. It's just a lot of people.
Right.
So we're not telling you guys to make bad products.
No.
Make better quality than McDonald's hamburgers.
Yes.
But also do look at, hey, they still sell billions of hamburgers.
That's right.
So have your quality product then and market not exactly like them, but market better than them. And then your impression, your logo, if you want to be the face of the company or whatever, like your face, when people see that, if you go to an event, even if they'd never bought our services yet, it would still be, I saw that dude, this guy, I've seen him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then, down the line.
That's right.
Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of times artists, they won't have a lot of sales yet, and they're so eager to get the sales. But you have to remember, you still need those sales a year from now. So you need them 6 months from now and 3 months from now. So you have to continually be advertising or doing something to, even if you're a SaaS business, which is software as a service, and you take monthly payments, like MailChimp, for example, still takes monthly payments, but they still advertise a bunch. Because like I need the people who are with me to stay with me. That's called customer retention.
Yes.
So when you retain your customers, you don't have to get as many new ones. Like you still advertise, but all right, I've been treating my customers right. We're doing our services well. And I'm just gonna still spend a little money on this ad retention over here so that they know we're thinking about them. Right? We're working on. Hey, we're working on something new. You guys have been with us the longest. Why don't you guys try it out first?
That's right.
Or giving them first access to stuff and private gifts and all that stuff. So. Another quick example, I was with MailChimp earlier on, and I think there was something on their website that they had a mistake on there. And I emailed them. I was like, hey, there's this error on this webpage. And they sent me a hat. It's like a monkey hat. It's with the MailChimp logo and all this stuff. And it's like a really funny hat. Like, when I put it on, like my kids laugh and all that stuff. So even doing that, that's also branding. Hey, here's this really funny hat with our logo on it. Let's give this out to people. So there's a ton of things you can do. We're talking to creatives here. You guys are creative. You can think of so many branding things that you can do. You put that in your ads, and you start to build your brand more and more and more.
That's what's up. Come on, makes sense.